What's up, you guys? I'm Amina. Welcome to my channel, Amina Reads. So in November, I read 11 books. And yeah, so we're gonna see all of the books that I read and what I thought about them while I do my hair. Okay, cool. So the first book that I want to tell you guys about is The Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. It's about Gavin, this professional baseball player, and basically his relationship with his wife Thea is going down the drain. He recently realized that his wife has been faking orgasms their entire relationship, and that is like the spark that really fucks up their relationship, and they're on the verge of divorce. And the way that he's gonna try to win her back is by joining this book club where him and other athletes read romance novels and they try to figure out the female psyche. I have a whole book review where I talk about this book, but I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. It was amazing. I love the characters. I love the romance. Second chance romance is always fun for me, and especially when they're married, like, it just hits different. And the next book that I read, it was a novella called Frosted Whipped Buttered by Christina C. Jones, and it's about these 2 co-owners of a bakery, and it's them like figuring out that they want to be in a relationship, basically. But it's really short. It's only like 20 pages or something like that, but it's really cute and I had fun reading it. I stopped filming for a little while because I wasn't making enough progress, so here's where we're at right now. I know my parts are probably a mess. We're not going to talk about it. I read The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa, and that was an arc, but that book doesn't come out until February. So this book is about this wedding planner named Lena and this guy named Max, and basically Lena was meant to marry this man named Andrew, and Max is Andrew's brother. She gets jilted. Andrew leaves her at the altar, and his only explanation is that Max, his best man, has done something that influenced him to not show up at the wedding, basically. So Max is the worst best man in question, and it's about like 3 years later, and Max and Lena have to work together on like this project or whatever. And the project is really important to Lena's wedding planning business. So this book was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I didn't really love it. Like, it was cool because Lena, she's Afro-Brazilian, and I really enjoyed the inclusion of like the culture and the food and all that. I thought that was really fun, and I liked those aspects of the book, and I liked Max and Lena as a couple, but I wasn't like obsessed with them. I wasn't super in love with the way the book was written. I thought that the dialogue was pretty weird a lot of the time, and I also thought that some of the conflict was stupid as fuck. So like, she just seemed more angry with Max than she seemed with Andrew, and Andrew's the one who left her at the altar, despite Max's supposed involvement in what went wrong. So I mean, it was an okay read. So after that, I read this book called The Babysitter by Jack Harbin, or Jack Harbon. I don't know how you would say that person's name. Sorry to that man. And it's about, you guessed it, a babysitter named Hayden, and he works for this couple named, I don't remember what the lady's name is, but the guy's name is Victor, and that couple, they're getting a divorce. So they get a divorce, and Hayden is like working his last few shifts for them, and after the divorce is like finalized and the wife or the ex-wife has like moved out, basically Hayden and Victor finally act on like a long-standing crush that I guess they had on each other, and that's basically it. But it was fun. It was kind of sexy, but other than that, it wasn't like life-changing, but I'm interested to see like what else this author has written. But yeah, like, it was fine. It wasn't bad. I had fun for the most part. I gave that 3 stars too. So the next thing that I read was One Day in December by Josie Silver, and this book is about these 2 characters named Jack and Lori, and basically they see each other on a bus one year in December. They see each other and it's like love at first sight or whatever. And then Lori basically spends like a whole year not necessarily looking for him, but like on the lookout to see if she ever sees him again. And when she finally does see him again, unluckily he is dating her best friend. And the whole book basically takes place over the course of a few years, and how these two people, they're just so like wildly in love and meant to be together, but they can't be because the timing is always just wrong for them. And I give this book 2 stars. I did not like it. I was so bored. The book felt very long, and kind of drawn out in my opinion because of the whole they can't be together because of the timing thing. Because it just was frustrating because I knew that they were going to end up together at the end. So every situation they were in, every romance that they were in between their, interludes together was just frustrating. I did not have a good time. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but it has a really high rating on Goodreads, and everybody seemed to love it when they were reading it last year. So I'm sure somebody's going to enjoy it, but it was not for me. The next thing that I read was Plus One by Christina C. Jones, and this is a novella where these two characters, they meet on Tinder, or like a Tinder-like app. They match, and then the girl like ignores the guy's text messages, and then she sees him in person really awkwardly in a coffee shop. And that is based on a real life situation that happened to me that I happened to tweet about. And my favorite author, Christina, she happened to write this novella about that. And she put me in the author's note to like credit me for the idea and stuff. And it was a really cool experience. And it was a really cute novella. I thought it was really funny. And I liked it because it was based around like the Thanksgiving holiday, and the characters have like this huge Friendsgiving dinner, and I just loved it. I thought it was so wholesome and sweet and funny. So I really liked the family and friendship dynamics as well as the budding romance. I thought it was so cute. Definitely would recommend that. I gave it 5 stars. Next thing that I want to tell you guys about is called Iron and Velvet by Alexis Hall, and it's about this lesbian, a private investigator, and her name's Kate. And basically she is part fairy, and she does like investigations for paranormal creatures. So in the beginning of this story, a vampire who owns this club, like some person gets murdered outside their club, and so they called Kate to figure out who committed the murder and why and all that kind of stuff. And I give this book 3 stars. It was okay. I feel like I gave a lot of books 3 stars this month. It was okay. Like, it was actually really funny, but I think that I just never cared enough about the mystery that Kate was trying to solve. So any time that was spent too involved in like discovering the mystery or like hunting for clues, I didn't care. But I thought that the interactions between Kate and like all of the supernatural creatures that she knew was really funny. And also the book was kind of like satirical, and it was poking fun at some other big paranormal titles such as like Twilight and stuff like that. There's a romance between Kate and this vampire named Julian that she's doing the investigation for, and her and Julian, like, their relationship was like, their flirtatious banter was cute and all, right? But I didn't feel like they needed to be in a relationship. I didn't necessarily understand fully why they were in a relationship. They talk about sex so much, and I was like anticipating like, okay, this is about to be like erotica, like I'm here for it, I'm ready. And then they finally had a sex scene, and the author was using all these weird like flower euphemisms, and I was just like, you lost me. It's weird. I can't do it. So I just feel like it kind of failed to deliver for me in terms of their relationship in general, and also the sex, if their relationship was going to be so founded in the sex aspect of their connection. So I was kind of like, felt a bit ambivalent about the mystery and the romance. So it was 3 stars because it was fun, but I didn't love it. What did I read after I read that? I read this book called The Weight of the Stars by Kate Ancrum, and that was definitely like my favorite book of the month. Like, that book made me sob. I have not cried like that reading a book in so long that I really needed it, honestly. Weight of the Stars is about this character named Rain Bird, and not Rain, her name's Ryan, I think, or is it Rain? No, I think her name's Ryan. Okay, so her name's Ryan, and it's about this girl, Ryan Bird, and her younger brother, James. James is like 16, and I think she's like 17, so he's not that much younger than her. But they are living alone. Their parents have died, and they're living alone, taking care of each other, basically. And also, James has a child, so they're taking care of James's child. And it's just like one of the best books that I've ever read, like, in my life. One of my favorite books ever. So the book is not just about that. It's also about Ryan and her friend group, and I'm obsessed with her friend group. I'm obsessed with the friendship dynamics that Kate Ancrum placed in this book, and also the romance. It was so slow burn and amazing. Ryan has this really complex relationship with this girl named Alexandria, and her and Alexandria start like stargazing every night, basically. Things are weird with Alexandria because she has her mother that's in space and she's angsty about it, and Rain basically tries to befriend her, and the whole book is about her introducing Alexandria to her friend group and them stargazing and them having this mutual love of space. And the book is just so beautifully written. The way it's written is absolutely gorgeous, but at the same time the characters feel so relatable, and their voices as teenagers feel very realistic, and I love their interactions as a friend group. And also, one of the friends, his name is Ahmed, and Ahmed has 3 parents. His parents are in a polyamorous relationship, and it just like, everything about this book is just amazing. I'm getting close to being done with my hair. Right now I kind of feel like it just looks like swirl ice cream or something. Don't really know how I love the blonde. I don't think that it looks right, to be honest. But there's still more books that I need to tell you guys about. Oh, I read Mary Inkmas by Talia Hibbert. I gave that book 2 stars. I did not like it. It was not the book for me. I was like, yeah, I want to be in a holiday spirit. It's gonna be fun. Like, I'm gonna love it. And I did not love it. I did not have fun reading this at all. So the beginning of this was actually really promising. It's about these 2 characters who meet, Bailey and Cash. So Bailey works at this coffee shop, and Cash is like a regular patron there. He comes in all the time, and they flirt with each other, and you know, everything's all cute. And so in the beginning of this book or whatever, basically Bailey is like friendly with this homeless guy named John, and John comes into the coffee shop because like it's winter time and he's cold. So he comes in to just warm up for a second, and Bailey's manager is like trying to throw John out. So Bailey and Cash kind of team up to help John. Bailey quits her job, and Cash, who has a lot of money because he owns a tattoo business or whatever, he like pays for John to have a hotel for a few nights, and he like organizes for John to get a job, and he also gives Bailey a job. And the way that it just started out, it was all nice, and Cash seemed like a very sweet and generous, charming person, and I was super into it. And then after that, it was super downhill for me. So it's not that at his core Cash isn't like a generous, nice person or whatever, but he was so annoying because he was so hot and cold with Bailey throughout the whole story. At some points he would be like, oh, you know, flirting with her, and like he would kiss her and then he'd push her away and be like, I'm no good for you, I'm a monster, and like all that stupid shit. And honestly, that's why I hate bad boy romances, because we find out about his backstory, and his backstory is really sad and all that, but I feel like it was one of those instances where an author feels like because you give a character a tragic backstory, that means that things that they do are suddenly like, you know, cute or romantic. Like, okay, it makes sense why he feels a certain way, but that doesn't mean that it's romantic to see him, you know, in this idiotic push and pull with Bailey. Like, he should have just left her alone if he really felt like I should leave her alone, but he didn't do that. I did not like Mary Inkmas at all. It was not it, in my opinion. I just did this section, so we're almost done. I just need to do this section, which will probably be like 6 more braids. But I want to tell you guys about the last 2 books that I read this month because my phone is about to die. So I read Criers War by Nina Varela, and that is this like forbidden romance between this girl who is the heir to the ultimate throne, which is basically like she's an android and her people are androids, and then the ultimate like have subjugated the humans, and the humans are like their servants and everything. And it's a forbidden romance between her and one of the human servants, Ayla. And Ayla is part of like this rebellion, this human rebellion, trying to get back at the ultimate, and she's trying to get close to Crier so that she can kill her. And their relationship is really wild and interesting, and I really like the political aspects of the story. I thought it was a really exciting debut, like the way that the politics of the story is building up. I think it'll be really interesting, like it. And I love things about like robots and androids and stuff. I just love it. It was interesting. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is Radiance by Grace Draven. This is about these, it's like a fantasy romance, and it's about this man named Brescian and this girl named Ildiko. And Ildiko is like a human, like European, of like European descent. Like, she's white, she has red hair, and the guy Brescian is from this species called the Kai, which are basically like they have human features, but their skin is like gray, and they have long like claws, and they have weird eyes. I think their eyes are supposed to be like yellow and glowy. And so they're kind of like a different species. Their countries they have like issues with each other diplomatically, so they decide to marry Brescian and Ildiko as like a sign of good faith, so that they can have like these trade agreements and stuff. And basically Brescian and Ildiko are like the most iconic couple that I've ever read about. It's so interesting how they have this arranged marriage, and when they have their first conversation, they're talking to each other and they're like, you know what, I think that you're really fucking ugly, but you have a nice personality, so I'm excited to be married to you. And I think that was like the most interesting thing that I've ever seen, and I just love their relationship. They just respected each other and valued each other so much as people, and they have like this kind of like this arranged marriage, and then they become friends within their marriage, and then they become lovers, and it's kind of like a slow burn in a way, and it's just so good, and I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I think I might just need to bump it up to 5 stars because I had a lot of fun reading it. I thought it was really interesting, and there is like a sequel, and I think the sequel is going to bring more of the politics and like this kind of war that's brewing to the forefront. But this first book was so good, and I love the romance, and like Brescian and Ildiko, they mean the world to me, and I love them. So yeah, that's it. That's all of the books that I read this month. Hopefully my phone does not crap out on me, and when I finish my hair, I will show you the finished product. I honestly feel like I look like Rogue from X-Men low-key. I also feel like possibly I just look like a clown. Let me know what you guys think of how the hair turned out. Let me know if you read any of the books that I talked about in this video. I'm sorry that this video is really long. I kind of didn't know like how to do it, how to structure it, and how to focus on doing my hair and also speaking. So the video was long, apologies. And yeah, let me know if you were into this video. Let me know anything that you want to let me know in the comments. And I will see you all soon. Bye, you guys.